Everyone, welcome to the second episode of the Her Platform, Her Story podcast. I am your host, Amber Ballard, and today we have Miss Liz Fellinger joining us. She is currently competing for Miss Virginia, and isn't it later this month?
Yes, it is June
Yay!
22nd through the 27th in
Yay!
Birmingham, Virginia.
Yay! All right, well, I'll go ahead and let you start by telling us about yourself and your platform.
I would love to. So, my name is Liz Fellinger, and I am the founder and director of You're Not Your Circumstance. This is an internationally based social outreach program that teaches youth how to overcome adversity through positive coping mechanisms. This is primarily done through a trauma informed curriculum that was developed by myself and a group of licensed child therapists and trauma counselors.
Yay! All right. That's really good. Can you share the story that inspired like your passion for your cause?
Of course. So the curriculum is based in my personal experience and the professional experience of the licensed child professionals. And my personal experience is when I was in the sixth grade, I was diagnosed with about seven different chronic illnesses. And that really, really sucked. And I don't like to sugarcoat that because living with chronic illness is not fun. And I went down the mental health rabbit hole for a couple of years. And when I would reach out to the adults around me for help, I never received any. And it wasn't because they didn't want to help me, it was because they didn't know how to. And it wasn't until I taught myself positive coping mechanisms that I was able to see that change in my mental health. So then I initiated the partnerships with those child professionals so that I could reach out and help other children utilizing the same tools that helped me.
I'm so sorry that you had so many illnesses growing up. That's
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 life.
awful. Oh my gosh. Okay, so how has your platform changed your life personally?
Aside from saving my life and helping me learn to live with my chronic illnesses, that's the thing with adversity in general, is a lot of times there is no cure for it. I'm chronically ill, I'm going to be chronically ill for the rest of my life, and that's something I had to learn how to deal with. But through leading this organization, it has been the most rewarding and the most challenging thing of my entire life. I never knew when I started this nearly a decade ago how big it would get. Currently, we are established in the United States, Canada, and Thailand. We've reached over 15,000 children, and I am grateful every day to be a part of something that is bigger than me.
Oh my gosh, that's so cool. You have an international, or you're part of an international organization. That's so cool. For my own platform, I wanted to, eventually go out of Virginia and stuff like that. So maybe I could get some tips from you, Liz.
Call me anytime. I could talk at great lengths about the cost and the planning that involved in not just a domestic expansion, but an international expansion. I was lucky enough to have partnered with several incredible organizations, the first being the United Methodist Church, and the second being the Girl Scouts of America, who have really aided me in those fundraising efforts and those pilot programs that allowed me to reach so many children across international borders.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. Has this at all influenced like your career, your goals or like your education?
Believe it or not, it has. I have a bachelor's of science in meteorology from Virginia Tech. I'm currently pursuing my master's of science in geospatial information science technologies from the University of Arizona. And both of those careers are rooted in resilience. And that is the overall theme and message of You Are Not Your Circumstance. My goal is to be an incident meteorologist, which is someone who helps during high casualty or severe weather events. Currently, I've got my hand in a few different projects across the state. Right now, I'm looking at planning different evacuation routes along coastal Virginia, particularly during hurricane season. As we see, we have such a mass population there that, quite frankly, is not prepared for the ever present and ever growing risk of hurricane season. And as we can establish climate resilience in these communities, we're going to see an overall better economic impact and, of course, the health and safety of those residents.
Right. I was just telling my mom the other day because we were thinking about moving out of state eventually. I would never move to Florida because of the hurricane. I just would never, I just personally would never want to live there. But All right, well, thank you so much for sharing that. What do you wish more people understood about your platform?
That positive coping mechanisms really do work. I've gotten quite a bit of feedback from parents who have written me letters or emails after one of, or all of their children, I should say, attended one of my curriculums, saying, I can't believe it's been 3 weeks and they're still doing those coping mechanisms. And that is the goal of it. Coping mechanisms are a long term strategy, they are not an instant fix. And that is because there is no cure for adversity. But those coping mechanisms are a safety net that is going to help those children protect their mental health in the face of it. And it makes me so happy every time I get one of those emails to know that those kids did listen to what I had to say in their classroom.
Yay, that's so good. What would you say are some common misconceptions about, your cause, and how can we as a society help diminish them?
I would say the biggest misconception that I get is that I'm a bit of a Debbie Downer, and that is because I deal with a lot of very heavy topics. I myself live with chronic illness, and when I go into a classroom, I don't know what kind of adversity a child is facing. I don't know if they have parents going through a divorce. I don't know if they're being bullied every day. I don't know if they're considering ending their life that afternoon or not. And so when you deal with these very heavy topics, people don't see the inherent joy that can come out of it. I jokingly say that I choose to live life in a state of disillusioned positivity. And that is because these kids need someone to walk in there and tell them that it is going to be okay. And that is especially what I do through my work with the Girl Scouts. I work with disadvantaged communities across the United States, and those kids maybe don't have an adult who is going to tell them that they love them or that they are proud of them. And I know how important it was for me to hear that when I was going through my mental health episode. So I always try to make sure that no matter how dark the subject matter I'm talking about is, those kids end up leaving knowing that there is an adult in their life who cares about them.
Period. I love that. I just love what you do, Liz.
Thank you.
Ever since I met you at VAF, I've been watching, through your Miss Pungo title, I've been watching you do so much, and like you're just one of my role models that like I want to just
Thank
be.
you
I
so
love,
much.
I really like how you go out into the
That's so
community,
sweet.
and yeah, of course, I love how you go out into the community with the teen of Miss Pungo and all your other sister queens, and just do stuff for the community, and that's a huge thing that I like to focus on is community service. So I just think you're so amazing. And just
Thank you. That makes me so happy to hear.
yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, let's do a little fun question.
Okay, I'm ready.
So now that are you still in graduate school currently, or
Yes, I just wrapped my first year, so I have 1 year left.
okay. So now that it's summer and you don't have any school, what is
Actually,
your
I do.
Oh, you
I have
do?
school year round. I am in a year-round grad program.
Oh my
There is
gosh.
no
Okay.
rest for the wicked.
Okay. Well, now that it is summer, what is your favorite season and why?
It's still summer, even though I'm in school. I am a warm weather person through and through. I always jokingly said that I became a meteorologist so I would know when it was going to snow and could plan to not be outside that day. Not a fan of snow, big fan of the sunshine and the warm weather.
My dad, he is such a snow person. I was born in the winter too, so we had snow around my birthday back in February, and I mean he was just over the moon about it. I feel like I kind of go back and forth between seasons, so I mean some days it could be fall, some days winter, some days summer. But yeah, I kind of like vary.
I am not a snow person in the slightest. I guess I would say my favorite season is any season but winter. As
But
long as
winter.
it's warm. All I ask is 60-degree temperatures and up, preferably. I don't know. My family says I'm weird. I lived in Albuquerque, New Mexico for a year after I graduated from undergrad, and temperatures there can get up to 110 degrees, and I loved every
Oh
minute of
my
it in the desert.
gosh.
But it is true when people say the heat is different. It's dry. Now, 110 is 110, but it's been 90 degrees in Richmond these past couple days, and that humidity is really starting to get to me, y'all, even though it is warm, so I'm not really going to complain.
I think it was about 100 degrees a couple weeks ago here in Fredericksburg, and I was sweating. Like I ended up taking a tour at UMW or the University of Mary Washington rather, and I was sweating and I hadn't even been outside for 5 minutes. It was just so bad. Okay, let's get back to it though. I'm just curious, like what have you done so far with your platform?
Absolutely. So, with our international expansion, we are currently established in, and when I say we, I'm speaking of myself, my organization, and my board of directors. We are a giant collective, and I love them all very, very much. And so we are established in the United States, Canada, and across Thailand. And I am the one woman show when it comes to presenting the curriculum. I have personally presented it to over 300 classrooms, reaching over 15,000 students across the world. And I'm very, very proud of that number. And I'm very excited to see it continue to grow. Just as Miss Pungo alone, I have reached another 1,500 students across classrooms in southeastern and central Virginia. And we do have a couple of bigger plans for expansion, I should say. As I am that one woman show right now, we have reached the point where the demand for this program is greater than I can physically accomplish as one person who is traveling throughout the week and every other weekend. So, right now, we are currently developing a volunteer training curriculum, and the Girl Scouts are guinea pigging it, I should say, or they're my test dummies. I love the Girl Scouts very much. You guys are amazing. And with this volunteer curriculum, we are going to be able to train people to present the curriculum the same way that I would, and they'll be able to establish it in their own communities without my physical presence. And it's very scary to not be needed anymore, but it is an amazing step towards the overall sustainability of the organization.
Nice. Oh my gosh, that's so fun. I really want to visit children in classrooms. So the fact that you've been able to reach so many is so amazing. I need tips from you, please. Give them to me.
You have my phone number. Text me anytime.
Yeah. Okay, so out of everything, I'm sure you've done a lot for I mean, you have done a lot for your platform. So what would you say has been your most meaningful or your favorite experience?
Oh, that's really tough. Can I say all of them? Is that a cop
Yeah.
out answer? Every
Yeah.
time I get an email from a teacher or a picture from a parent, or those letters I was talking about of the parent saying, I can't believe it's 3 weeks and they're still doing it. They've never done anything for 3 weeks straight. It really just makes me so happy because those kids are listening and they're learning. And I try my best, especially in the younger classrooms, to make positive coping mechanisms fun. I found that some of the favorites with the little kids is the anaconda squeeze, which is when you tighten up all of your muscles and you give yourself a big hug and then you let it all go. And you let the bad thoughts and the bad energy go out with it. And then you'll see kids on the recess or in playground that same day giving themselves just big hugs. And it makes me so happy that those kids are learning and having fun while doing so.
Yay! Oh my gosh, nice. Okay, so we're kind of past like our platform questions now. We're gonna talk about Miss Virginia. So tell me about it in its mission.
Yes, so Miss Virginia is an official state preliminary to the Miss America Opportunity, which is the largest scholarship provider to young women in the United States. And I have competed in many a pageant system throughout my ripe old age of 23 years, and I always come back to Miss America. This will be my second time competing for Miss Virginia. I competed about 3 years ago when I was going into my final year of college at Virginia Tech. And I am just so excited to step on that stage again and see how much I've grown and make my 20-year-old self proud because I know that if she could see the things that I have accomplished in these past 3 years, she would be standing wide eyed and in awe like I am every day that I get to live this life with this title.
Oh my gosh, that's so inspiring. I eventually want to compete for Miss Virginia, but I think that's
You
after I
absolutely
graduate.
should.
I think
This
that's after I graduate from college though, because my whole life is it's been crazy lately. I've been having to transfer stuff over from VCU and it's just still registering for classes too has been a lot. So, but thank you so much for sharing that. What is your favorite area of competition?
Hands down talent. Fun fact about me, I went to performing arts high school. And while I did not continue the performing arts as a profession, I still love it with my heart and my soul. And I cannot wait to put my new talent song on the Miss Virginia stage.
Nice. Oh my gosh. Have you like always enjoyed doing like musical stuff and like stuff like that?
Yes, I've been involved in musical theater since I was about 10 years old, did it all throughout high school and college, branched a little bit into some non-union work, which is professional theater, but not a part of the Actors Equity Union when I was in high school. And I just love performing for people. I'm a very naturally dramatic person, and so having that outlet to sing my heart out just is incredible.
So I assume that you're looking most forward to talent then at the
Oh,
competition.
yes,
And
ma'am.
yes. Okay.
I am just so excited to sing.
How do you think you would feel if you won Miss Virginia?
Goodness gracious, I don't even think I can put that into words. A fun fact is that I almost didn't compete for Miss Pungo. I had been praying a lot about the Miss Virginia opportunity and whether or not I should throw my hat in the ring again or if I needed to focus on other things like my grad school work, for example. And I was getting a lot of signs from God that I led me to believe that maybe this opportunity wasn't for me. But then 24 hours before the Pungo deadline, it was like I got flooded with a completely different set of signs that just told me to go for it. And so I did, and it obviously worked out pretty well in my favor. And I'm continuing to say those same prayers as I'm going into Miss Virginia. God, if it is for me, bless me with it or save me from it. And if it's not my time now, you know what? That's okay. Because I have had so much fun in these past, I want to say 10 weeks as Miss Pungo that I have been blessed with this local title and with the children I have been able to reach. And I would continue to be blessed with that Miss Virginia title and reaching children not just in Central Virginia or Southwestern Virginia, but across the Commonwealth.
Oh my gosh, that's so nice. I know that question's kind of like, how would you feel? Because I feel like for me, I wouldn't really know until like I'm in the position. But I mean, definitely I would be happy, but yeah, that's so nice. Well, you've done a lot of community events with your title, but have you done any like specifically for your platform, or has like all of it kind of been like for your platform?
I've done a lot of work with my platform. The majority of what I do when I go in to visit schools or in some case homeless shelters, correctional facilities, I don't put it on social media. And that is because first and foremost, I think those children who are in disadvantaged situations or very vulnerable situations deserve their privacy. So I will never bring a phone. I will never bring a camera in there. But as for the more public appearances, some of my favorites were my charity spotlights. I was able to tour the Service Dogs of Virginia and Children's Assistive Technology Services and open up their doors to new resources and new ways of fundraising so that the people who follow my social media accounts, I have an average or monthly reach of about 30,000, can learn about those resources. And it's actually inspired people to donate to those resources as well, which is such an incredible thing. You are not your circumstance. Got its start with community partnerships, and I love being able to pay that forward.
Oh my gosh, that's again, that's just so inspiring. Like your whole story and everything is
Thank you.
just so inspiring. So, last title holder question. So, as Miss Pungo, hi Erin, how are you? As Miss Pungo, how do you inspire others to become involved in your cause and has this at all like been effective?
I've got to say, it's pretty easy when the kids are doing it for me. If I go into one classroom and teach a group of 30 to 50 kids, chances are I'm getting an email less than 24 hours later from a different teacher in that same school who's asking, well, my kids saw those kids at recess and they really want to hear you talk too. Or I saw a princess in the hallway and I just have to meet her. And so through those children, really pushing my platform for me has been the best experience.
Oh, that's so nice. Okay, one more, or actually two more questions. So, What would you say is what quality do you like most about yourself?
That I'm able to choose positivity. I said a little bit earlier that I live in a state of disillusioned joy, and we often hear disillusioned as a negative thing. But I like to think of it as I'm choosing the positive in an inherently bad situation. Okay, I've mentioned several times I'm chronically ill. I'm going to be chronically ill for the rest of my life. If I dwelled on that, what kind of life would I be living? And that is the crux of positive coping mechanisms, is finding the joy in bad situations.
Yes, I love that. Okay, so if listeners could take away one message from your story and your platform, what would you want it to be?
I would want them to know that we're not our first mistake, we are not our last, and that we can't control a lot of the things that happen to us in life. A lot of adversity is just drawing the short straw, and you're allowed to be mad, you're allowed to be upset, but you're not allowed to let those emotions overwhelm you to the point where you cannot live your life to the fullest. So instead of thinking about the things in your past that might define you, think about how you've grown and risen from it. And if you ever need a helping hand or a shoulder to cry on, I am always here for anybody. Mental health is in the center of my heart, and it will be for the rest of my life.
Well, thank you so much for coming on here, Liz, for this episode. I really
For
loved
having
hearing,
me.
yeah, of course. I really loved hearing about you and your platform and your journey, your story. Again, thank you so much for coming on here. If anyone else would like to be featured on my podcast, please message me and make sure to follow both of us and support Liz when she goes to Miss Virginia at the end of this month.
Yes, thank you so much, Amber. This was so much fun.
Woo. All right. Well, I will see you guys on Wednesday for my next episode. Don't miss it. It will be at 6 o'clock, and it's with my best friend Emily. She'll be talking about her nonprofit. Yeah, she does a lot for like animals and stuff, so it'll be fun to talk about that. All right. Well, thank you again for joining me, Liz. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and thank you to my viewers for watching. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.
Bye.